So 2 months ago, I met with Thefutur here in Dubai, and it was an incredible experience because he's been a mentor to all of us. I think his tips and knowledge is absolutely amazing, but our interaction wasn't too good. And that's because our mindsets and the way we think is completely different. So in this video, I want to share my critiques on why I think Thefutur is wrong and why many of you shouldn't be following his advice, and comparing this with my philosophy of freelancing and what I think is the method and the way for you to actually start earning a lot more as a freelancer. So see, the first issue I have is that although the content Thefutur has seems to be catering to every freelancer and every agency owner, his actual advice, his tips are only applicable to a very, very small minority of freelancers. And I call them the ultra high premium service providers. And these are all the people that you see on Behance when you open up the website. These are the people you see at the top of the rankings, which are literally at the forefront of the qualitative work you can do. And web design is not just web design anymore, it's an art. Logo design is not just logo design anymore, it's an art. And these people have certain problematics, which is, different customers, people not paying them enough, having a mindset where you value your work enough to say bye to customers, and really thinking in a very artistic approach about the business. See, Thefutur wants you to think of yourself as this very high premium artist where you can literally charge $16,000 for a logo, and that if the customer thinks it's too expensive and you only tell him, well, this is the price it costs, etc. And while it does work for these people who are at the top of the quality of work, it doesn't for the 99% of freelancers who do great work but who are not at these levels, who are usually also in New York and these big cities interconnected. So really Thefutur's world is a tiny world of high premium freelancers, and it makes it seem like anybody can go on and double their prices. But for most of you, if you go on and double your price tomorrow, you'll likely lose every single one of your customers. And the second thing that Thefutur makes it seem like is that the market isn't important. You should only value yourself and the works will come. And yes, this works in the Silicon Valley where you're connected with many founders like he was, and you make logos and you can charge $50,000. But for most of us, it's going to take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to get there and to actually be able to follow Thefutur's tips and strategies, and also his aim of always getting less customers, more premium customers. It's actually very hard and requires extremely premium work. So his framework works for so few people that it makes us delusional on the actual directions we should take. In me, many times I was thinking of applying his strategies, and every time I did, it actually made me less money and made me make big mistakes. So first, I want to explain what is ultra high premium work and why it's not necessarily the path that you want to go towards, even though Thefutur tells you it's the way you should go. So of course, he doesn't say double your prices. He always says, well, your work needs to be better. Your work needs to be the best on the market. And usually people who achieve this have done, 10 years of studies as graphic designers, and they've then spent years and years and years progressing. But me, I'm 22 years old and I want to start making a lot of money now. I don't want to go through years of studying and becoming the best designer in the world before I can follow Thefutur's advice. And the reality is you can make so much money without following this path of going towards ultra high quality work. Because what he doesn't say is this type of work enters a new dimension of customer delivery and what people actually expect. And making a logo is not just making a logo anymore, or making a website is not just making a website anymore. There needs to be so much fluff and unnecessary points in order for the customer to be happy or to be willing to pay $30,000, $40,000 for a website. And that will directly increase substantially the amount of cost you will have on your business, because if you want to delegate your work, you're going to have to hire a top level creative, and a top level creative can cost you anywhere from $80,000 to $120,000 in the US, and even frankly anywhere in the world, even in Eastern Europe where it's typically lower wages, top designers charge just as much because the work is as valuable. So it becomes extremely hard to scale, to delegate, and to grow a business and to make more money, because you're entering this sphere of people expecting a crazy amount of work, a crazy amount of quality, which is simply not doable for most of us and most of you watching. And it will complexify your business. It will put an increasing pressure on creativity, on creating a name for yourself, on Behance in the industry. Instead, what I prone is to increase the quality of your work in regards to a specific niche's expectations. So going for ultra premium work is good. You can definitely follow Thefutur's advice, but for most of you who want to grow your business to 100K or $1 million a year, it's not the way you want to go towards. The costs are too high. The costs of growth are too high. The market is tiny, so you're gonna have a crazy pressure to build your personal brand, and it's basically gonna rely 100% on that. And it's a very complicated and tedious process to get to these levels. So let's go back to my point, my strategy, what I prone, and what made me go from 50,000 to $1 million in profit a year in less than 2 years, and what I think will be the core of this revolution of freelancers starting to earn more money. So instead of focusing on providing services for $16,000, of making top level logos, of being at the forefront of the industry, we want to lay back down, and we want to understand that the average business owner, even those who have a lot of money, don't understand the top quality level the way we do, right? They see top design as perhaps what their top company in their industry, which in most cases isn't even a good logo. So us, instead of being in that top of level niche, we want to increase our quality and be the best in a specific niche in the eyes of that specific niche. So even truck drivers, for example, if you choose the truck driving niche in freelance and you want to make logos for all the little logistics companies, you want to find what they actually care about and become the number one choice possibility in that niche. And you can get an inflow, a tremendous inflow of customers who are also willing to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a logo, which is less than Thefutur. And your logo might look terrible to you, but the truck driver will absolutely love it because he loves these truck designs, which are very complicated and have trucks on them and speed and gradients, whatever. It might be disgusting, but you're going to make a crazy amount of money, a crazy amount of income, because you're simply going to understand the need for this market, and you're going to follow this freelance roadmap of creating systems, creating processes, having an abundant amount of customers by creating customer acquisition process. And you're literally going to go from being a broke freelancer to making $1 million a year simply because you didn't follow Thefutur's advice and you decided to even downgrade the quality of your work or what you actually do to cater for a specific niche and even reduce your prices in order to satisfy that niche. It will literally make you rich. But see, when I talked about this with Chris, it's like we're from two different worlds. And I definitely understand that from his perspective, it's obvious that you want to go premium, you want to make better work, you want to assume that everybody has this capability. But me, thinking of me as a 17-year-old freelancer at the time, 18-year-old freelancer, barely making a living, you know, Thefutur's advice just wasn't what I needed, and it kind of clouded my ability to grow my business because I simply wasn't able to perceive myself in that niche, in these capabilities, in this world, simply put. And the reason why I'm sharing all this now on my YouTube channel and why I think you shouldn't follow Thefutur is because I want to give the advice that helped the 18-year-old, 19-year-old freelancer me, who had a quite successful freelance business, but was very basic. And as I said, making $2,000 a month and then $4,000 a month, to now, you know, being a one-man agency making over $1 million in profit. I want to tell you exactly how to do this without going the premium way, which again is going to cost you an enormous amount of money. So I hope you like this video. To sum it up, why I think Thefutur's approach is wrong, it's because it's focusing on a small percentage of people, and he's not really telling you that you're not part of these people, that you're not part of these top level designers in New York City who are meeting top level clients, and that you're not able to triple, quadruple your prices to 20K a logo. And instead, you should go towards increasing your volume, understanding a niche, even if it's not sexy at all, and not doing work which is perceived as prestigious by all other designers, but just by this specific niche that you want, because this is how you're going to be able to make an enormous amount of money really quickly. So I hope you like this video. Please let me know if you have any questions, any specific topic you want me to dive into. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. Again, we're starting a revolution where being a freelancer is not just about making 50 grand and taking risks. It's about being a millionaire, having the life that we want, and having health, wealth, happiness, and freedom.